Okay, so the production designer. The production designer really creates the look of what you can see within the locations of a film. So the production designer will work carefully with the director and with the cinematographer to make sure that look is correct in terms of the stylistic trends of the film, the narrative of the film, the genre of the film, the type of story the film is, but also the way the director wants that film to look. Again, I've recalled my own experiences working with a production designer, but a production designer is often very much overlooked in terms of, it's if you're working on a no to low budget film, then this is a role that usually gets passed by, but the production designer will look after the cast and their costumes, the makeup, give the film an overall look. And the production designer will work off, what's been given to them by the director in terms of the colours used in the film, but also the lighting and, how the locations and the sets, work with the lighting design to give it an overall look. It's going to be pretty bad if, the set clashes with the lights, and especially at this level, what we'll quite often see is, people being shooting films in student houses which are very bare, which look like student houses. With a production designer there, it might be a case of painting the walls, dressing the sets. As I say, it's a very much overlooked role, but it's one that you need to look into. Okay then, so there's a sound recordist and the boom swinger. Again, on low budget films, the boom swinger and the sound recordist is usually one and the same person. Someone with a little bit more budget, or if you've got friends who have got production skills, have good sound skills, then one person can swing the boom and the other can record the sound on a separate mixer. So the boom holder would hold the microphone in position and make sure that microphone is as close to the actors without getting in shot. So it's the best, the cleanest, the most clear sound that can be recorded. At the other end of the boom will be the sound recordist, who's mixing the sound to make sure the levels are correct, making sure there's no background noise, making sure everything's okay on set. Again, the sound recordist then would take the sound into a studio, mix this, make any changes, any dubbing, also work with the editor on making sure the production mix was right for the end of the film. Okay then, so moves on to editor. So the editor is pretty self-explanatory. This is a person who edits the film together. They take the director's vision, they take the raw footage, the material that comes from the shoots to assemble in the edit, and the director and the rest of the crew will hopefully provide enough coverage that the editor has enough material to work from to make creative choices, whether to go for a long shot or a medium shot or a close-up, or to retain the shot on one character while another character talks. So it's about the focus of the film, it's about the focus of the narrative, but also, how there's that constant narrative progression, how a narrative is constantly moved and pushed forward through the motion of the film. Okay then, next we'd have continuity and script supervisor. So continuity is, as it sounds, making sure there's continuity on set. So in the film About a Girl, there was a lot of jump cuts, but the continuity was kept clear in terms of the script, but in terms of the locations also. So again, you're going to be shooting on a single camera setup, so continuity is key. You'll be shooting shot reverse shots where if two characters are talking to each other, you'll shoot character A, then character B, and then you might go for a long shot and a close-up shot, but you need to retain continuity throughout these shots. Again, the continuity problem, for example, could be someone smoking a cigarette, where in the first shot they're smoking a full cigarette or even a nearly depleted cigarette, and then in the next shot where it cuts back to him, it's a full or nearly depleted cigarette. It shows a passing of time, so this is bad continuity and audiences will pick up on this. In the same breath really is script supervisor, and script supervisor can also work on continuity, but script supervisor really makes sure everything's in its place, but will also log your shots. So the time code off your camera, they'll write down where the shot started, where the shot ended, and whether it was a good take or not. Again, this role might not seem as important anymore, but it will save you a lot of time when it comes to the edit. When we're shooting on film, this was a really important job because it meant that we didn't have to print certain sections of film, so it cost less money and a lot less time. Okay, the assistant director. So the assistant director is the producer's right-hand person on set. The assistant director is a person who makes sure all the shots are on time. They make sure each shot is measured beforehand to understand how long each shot will take in terms of how long each scene will take. So in terms of being a producer on set, they'll make sure they keep everything to time, and quite often they're the people who will organise the set. So if you imagine a film shoot, the crew are getting in positions, they're dressing the set, the cinematographer's setting up the camera, setting up the lights with technicians, the director is in the back rehearsing the cast. Then on set, the assistant director will make sure everything is running to time, running to schedule, everyone knows the places, everyone's prepared, but also, they'll be 3 steps ahead of the game in terms of giving people directions and orders of what to do next. So if you're working on one scene, the assistant director will make sure things are being organised for the next scene, so the production will move quite quickly, quite freely and quite easily, either between shot to shot, scene to scene, or location to location, because in the film business time is money. Okay, then we've got the second assistant director, and the second assistant director directs the background cast. So if you've got any background cast at all, whether it's a cast of 2 or thousands, the second assistant director will make sure they're in their places for each shot, they know where to walk in the shot, they're fully briefed on what the shot is. The third assistant director isn't on set at all. The third assistant director will be in the production office, looking after the production office, making sure things are in their place, making sure transport is where it needs to be, making sure everybody knows what they're doing, and they'll be planning days ahead, so producing call sheets, checking the weather, checking there's not going to be any major traffic, making sure the locations will be clear, making sure the catering will arrive, checking the temperature, so making sure that the cast and crew are well looked after, making sure everything is in place for when the crew arrive. Okay then, so this brings on to the production assistant or production assistants, and you will know production assistants better as runners. So runners on set are invaluable, for moving props around, for grabbing people from dressing rooms, rehearsals, anything that the production team misses, the runner can do, holding different items. Runners are, in this respect, let's call them production assistants, are invaluable. And then finally, there's the technical crew. The technical crew are the people who will be setting up lights, in terms of making props, making locations. This is a large crew, and again, at this level, we don't expect to have a large technical crew, but you may need help from your friends, from your family, from other peers within the course, to give you their skills, their advice, and help you make sure your film achieves. Okay, so outside of this, there are a number of different roles, and again, it's quite an exhaustive list. I'm not going to go through this list all in this clip, but if you do visit the worksheet, you'll notice a large list of this. Make notes on that list, and then make notes in terms of what you feel the needs for your film are.